Hi, I'm Lakshmi, audiologist and speech language pathologist. In my practice, I keep coming across many questions asking by patients regarding ENT problems and solutions. So I thought, why not ask these questions directly to a professional and seek good answers? So here I would like to introduce you Dr. Rakesh, ENT surgeon from Pinnacles Hospital, Visakhapatnam, who is well known for his cochlear implant surgeries and endoscopic nose surgeries. So sir, hi.
Hello.
Thank you for coming for this interview.
Welcome anytime. It's my pleasure doing interview with you.
Thank you, sir. So here we would like to know more about all the ear and nose and throat problems. So we would like to know more about nose issues because we are, as an audiologist, we are not aware much about nose problems for the patients, but we somewhere feel it is interconnected with the therapy and the audiology. So one question we keep coming across is about their sinus problems. Some of the patients come and say, I have sinus also, but we won't understand what is sinus and how the treatment can go on. So can you please explain regarding this?
Yeah, I would like to make few things clear for your patients here. Sinus is a normal anatomical structure which is there in anybody.
Okay.
Sinus is, to be educative, sinus is nothing but air-filled cavities which we see in our face. This is the reason why we feel our head is light. There are four air-filled cavities. They are called as sinuses we see here in cheekbones. They are called as maxillary sinus. There are sinuses which we see here. They are called as frontal sinuses. There are sinuses which we see between the eyes in this area. That's called as ethmoid sinus.
That is the only sinus we know.
And there is one more sinus called sphenoid, which if you take a direct connection from here and here, and the point at which it meets, the brain is surrounded by that. So these are the sinuses which are usually air filled, and that is the reason why, though your brain weighs 3 to 4 kgs, you don't realize that it weighs so much. Okay. That is one thing which most of the people should understand, which they don't usually realize. That's why they tell, I have sinus, they have sinuses. Yeah. And the other thing I would like to emphasize is any cold or any discharge from the nose, people perceive it as sinusitis. Okay. And there is a difference between sinusitis and allergic rhinitis. Okay. People think both are the same. Whereas allergic rhinitis is one end of the spectrum and sinusitis is the other end of the spectrum. Okay. And they both meet in midline at one point of time in some people who have chronic allergy, and because of the allergy the openings of the sinuses close and they get infected. Okay. That's when it becomes allergic rhinosinusitis. Okay. So the only medication, the only solution for allergic rhinitis is medication, identifying the factors which cause the running of nose and sneezing and things like that.
Yeah.
So it can be food, it can be any smell, it can be any agarbatti ka smoke. Anything can result in the sinus, allergic rhinitis. Whereas sinus is completely different. There is a clear cut way of finding out whether it is allergic rhinitis or sinusitis by asking if the patient has any clear fluid like thing coming, or sneezing, or irritation of the eyes, irritation in the throat, things like that, and that is allergic rhinitis. And sinusitis is completely different, where the patient usually tells, I get phlegm which is thickish, whitish in color or yellowish in color, and they complain of heaviness of head. Some people complain they can't smell well, things like that.
So one more question they keep asking me for is, they keep getting nasalized speech. Is it related to nose problems?
Yes, it's related to nasal as well as nasopharyngeal. Okay, nasopharyngeal is nothing but the part behind the nose, where in children is usually because of adenoids. That is the place where the adenoids stay in children, or they are there in the children, not stay, sorry, they are there in the children. So as age progresses, the adenoids regress and the nasal phonation or nasal speech in children will come down. But the child with adenoids sometimes they can't sleep well, they have snoring. If the child has severe disturbed sleep and snoring, then we advise them surgery, after which the nasal speech automatically goes off because the adenoid mass is removed. Other than that, in adults, it can be because of deviated nasal septum, the septum bent to one side, or there are two normal structures called turbinates. The turbinates can become big because of chronic infections or because of allergic rhinitis. And in the present day situation, many people are using these drops called oxymetazoline and xylometazoline. I don't want to name the brands because I don't want to be part this one. So these two chemicals in those drops usually cause constriction of the turbinates, and the patient can breathe well. But because they can breathe well, they keep on using it on a regular basis.
So kind of an addiction to that.
It's not kind of an addiction, it's definitely an addiction. And there are many people who walk into my chamber telling, "Doctor, I'm using these drops with the pocket."
In the pocket.
In the pocket. So, and those kind of patients, the turbinates become bigger than normal because of the drops, which is a side effects. And those are the ones who require surgery. And in some people who have polyps, they are unwanted growth in the nose. Those are usually a result of allergy, so those also have to be operated. So the moment you make the nasal passage clear, the nasal speech is gone.
Automatically the speech is clear. Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome.